Hi, hello. The only reason I'm doing this is so I can wear a Madonna mic. So this presentation is really focused on trying to help and support the YouTube creators. At Channel Flip, we work a lot essentially with UK YouTube creators, but also with creators from all around the world. And we work with them in many different ways, and I thought I would focus today on telling you a little bit about the different ways that YouTube creators can benefit from companies like Channel Flip, companies different from Channel Flip, and how it all works. These are some of our talents, by the way. Dan and Phil, famous serious bloggers, and Emma Blankery, who famously wrote a song called Google Plus is Shit. And then we have PJ, who does really weird things. So anyway, Channel Flip is a company that was founded in 2006, so it's been around the block. And as with most YouTube companies that have been around for a while, it's changed a lot. It has got what is called normally a multi-channel network, which was described in the previous presentation. In fact, now it has two multi-channel networks because it has a little one called Little Flippers, which is for preschoolers, and that's been created separately to the main one, so we can target specifically advertising that is kid-friendly. We also have a talent agency, actually, because a lot of YouTubers, and we're going to go through this a little bit later, a lot of our YouTubers are thinking about, what else apart from YouTube? Where can we go from there? And so we created a talent agency called Flipside. And then finally, we created a branded content agency that works with our network and also with people outside of our network to try and create those big branded campaigns that are very beneficial to YouTubers and also work very well for brands. Oh, yes. Sorry. I knew this was going to happen. I am a French person from Paris speaking in English to a Hebrew audience, so it's going to be difficult. I will try to work a little bit slowly. Sorry, I apologize for that. Yes, in Paris we speak very fast. This is actually my slow motion version, but I'll do better than that. I'm sorry about this. So I've worked with YouTube creators for many, many years, and I've asked them often, what does success look like for you? And it turns out that success for YouTube creators essentially is the same as success for most people, and it involves what I like to call the 3 Fs. The first F is fun. Now, fun comes in different ways for different people. This is not my idea of fun. But Colin Furze, who is a YouTube creator in the UK, thinks it's very funny. And obviously he's having a lot of fun doing this. But fun is a very important part of why people first come to YouTube. It's a fantastic platform to try new things and to be able to follow your dreams. And it's very important to keep remembering that that's a big part of what we do. The second one is fame, and by fame I don't necessarily mean, Justin Bieber. I also mean just recognition in what you're good at. So if you're good at animation, it's to be famous within the animation world. If you're good at music, that's a different kind of fame. But recognition through YouTube is a very important part of what a lot of people do on YouTube. And then, that'd be nice. Fortune, maybe not, but enough to pay the rent, I think is what YouTubers like to say. It would be nice to make a living out of YouTube, and increasingly it is possible within certain limits and constraints. So that's what we look at. And so I talk to YouTube creators, and they say, we want to do all of this. And then they say, we basically ask ourselves 2 main questions. And this is in mature markets, in the UK, in the US, in France. And they say, the first question is, should I join a network? Those multi-channel networks, are they good for me? Are they useful? Should I be there? And then the second question is, should I get an agent? Am I big enough on YouTube that I can dream of being famous in other parts of the media, and can an agent help me get there? And the answer, and we're going to go through these 2 questions in a little bit of details, but the answer is actually both a network and an agent can help you towards reaching your fun, fame, and fortune trilogy. This network can help you with fun because network will provide collaboration opportunities with other YouTubers that are like you. They can provide production support, like a drivable toilet seat, if that's what you're after, or it could be some other ways of making production more fun. Some of them have studio space that you can use. Some of them have special effects team that you can use, makeup artists, etc. So they can make the fun bigger. They can also help you manage your audience size and grow your audience size, again, within certain limits and constraints that we will go into in a bit more detail. But they are specialists of the YouTube platform, and they can teach you a lot as to how to go from 100,000 views a month to 200 or 300 or 400,000 views a month. And finally, the right network should be able really to help you monetize your audience. And that is probably the primary value of a network. If you are a YouTube creator, you should be able, through your network, to get one, AdSense optimization, improve your CPM, improve your monetizable views, etc. And two, those famous branded content deals that I know you're starting to do here in Israel that are now, part and parcel of the life of YouTubers in more mature markets. What about an agent? If you're starting to be a little bit bigger, they can get you radio show deals, they can get you TV deals. If you're a musician, they can possibly get you signed by a proper music publisher if that's what you want to do, or certainly do live events or live gigs. And finally, they will get you brand endorsements, they will get you merchandise deals, again, within certain circumstances. That's what an agent can do for you for a fee. If you find the right agent and if you're at the right stage of your career and if you want to invest the time and effort to do that. So let's have a look at these two things in a little bit more detail and start with, and please admire my transitions. That was beautiful. I had so much fun putting that together. Let's start with the network support. And I thought I would give you a few examples, mostly because I was told to put funny videos in my presentation. So I thought I would start with something we at Channel Flip did with this guy. This guy is a UK YouTuber called Dan Is Not On Fire. That's his YouTube name. He's called Dan Is Not On Fire. And when he reached a million subscribers, which was about 2.5 years ago, he decided that the fun way to celebrate that would be to put himself on fire. Because that's his name, that's not his name. So he came to us, his network, because that was beyond his production capabilities. And we said, that sounds great, that sounds like fun. At the time we had a small studio and we put together a fake music video with him and his sidekick, who's another YouTuber called Phil, amazing Phil, who is in many of Dan's videos, and it's quite a long video, but I'll show you just a bit where he catches fire.
Are you okay?
I'm on fire! Do I look like I'm fucking okay?
Do you want me to put you out?
Phil, I'm out. Jeez.
So that's an example of, something fun that they really, really wanted to do, Dan and Phil. They came to us, they had this idea, they couldn't have done it without their network, and we were really happy to help. And that's the sort of production support that a good network should be able to give you. It's nice. It's also important to remember as a YouTube creator to think about how often you're going to use that, because the truth is, it's probably not going to be that often. It's going to be one-offs, it's going to be special events where you really want something different, and in that case, the right network can definitely help you. But, networks who come to you and say, we have huge creator space, you have to really decide whether that's something that you'll be able to sustain on a daily basis. Still, we have fun doing those, and when we can help, we can definitely do it. Audience management is a big one. Can a network help you grow your audience as a YouTube star? And the answer is yes. Sort of. I'm going very slowly here. The answer is if you've reached a critical mass, absolutely. But if you're tiny, no. And if you're really big, probably no either. So what networks are really good at is bringing you from here to here. That's a very, not easy, but that's a very normal thing for a network to do. They're not good at taking you from here to here, and they can't really take you much higher than the air without some extra effort. But they can get you through that little point in the curve where you can really grow. Why? Because they can cross-promote you with channels of the same kind. They can create collaborations with YouTubers of the same sort of size. But again, you have to think about those YouTubers. They're not going to want to collaborate with somebody who's really small. They're going to want to collaborate with people who are of a similar size audience as they are. So yes, a network can help you grow your audience. They can help you optimize your channel. They know how to work the machine, work the algorithm to make sure that you get up in the search search ranks, etc. But that only really works once you're at a certain level. They're not going to take something from 0 to 300,000 subscribers for free. That doesn't happen. So yes is the answer. Yes, a network can help you with audience management, but they can't make miracles happen. What a network should be able to do, though, is make you more money. And that really is, if you are a YouTube creator and you're thinking about going onto a network, that's the crux of the matter. That's what you're looking at. And when we talk to our partners, we say we have those numbers. These are actually real numbers. Well, they're not telling you who they are. This is year to date in 2014 in pounds. This is what a small partner and a big partner would have made off AdSense without a network. And this is how much they made because they're part of the Channel Flip network. And so for a small partner, it might not look like as much in terms of size of part, but they would basically double their earnings by creating branded content deals, by selling pre-rolls for them, etc. And for a big partner, it's only 50% more, but that makes a pretty big difference when we're talking about some significant amounts of money. And that's what you should be looking for in a network. Is a network that's going to create that sort of value for you, because if they're not doing that, then you shouldn't really be working with them. I'm going to spend a little bit more time talking about those branded content deals that we do, because we do a lot of them at Channel Flip, and we think we're quite good at them, so that's why I'm talking about them. But we think we've managed to find the fine line between doing brand deals without losing the authenticity of the people that we work with. And that's a very difficult line to walk when you're working with YouTube, because you want the money from the brands, but you can't, you have to respect your audience as a YouTuber, because that content that you're doing for the brand is going to sit on your channel, and it needs to be true to your audience. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. This is actually quite a small partner that we have. She's called Carrie Fletcher. And last year we did a big campaign with Kellogg's. And the campaign that we did, it was for a cereal brand called Crave, which Kellogg's launched in the UK. And Crave was meant to be their brand for teenager. It still exists and it's doing quite well. It's their teenage brand. So they wanted to move away from being a kids brand to Crave, which is more of a teenager type of brand. It's basically Nutella wrapped into cornflakes. So you can see how it would be appealing to teenagers. But they needed to get the message out there. It's really delicious. So what we did, we worked with Crave and their agency, and we created the idea of a challenge. And the nice idea of a challenge, first of all, it's very YouTube. There are a lot of challenges on YouTube. Secondly, it allowed us to customize the challenge for each of our YouTubers. And we ended up with 13 videos with 13 different YouTubers. Carrie's is my favorite, so I'm going to show you first when she receives the challenge and then what she made out of it. And basically, we worked a little bit with her, but it was her creation, it was her production. Crave saw it for approval, but they didn't intervene in the editorial, and it was very much still in her voice. So this is the first one, where she opens her challenge box. So that's what she received. She received this box, and then she goes away, and then this is a video that she made.
Boom, I completed my Crave challenge.
So this was a really nice one, and actually we had over 3,000 comments asking for this to be the new jingle for Crave, but we're still working on that. In parallel, we sent a different challenge to Dan, who you saw earlier on fire. At this one, he was not on fire, but he did have to dress as a T-Rex, including, apparently T-Rex have very short arms, so you need to cross your arms in the costume. That's how it works. I learned that. And try to catch flying craves. And so I'm going to show you just a tiny bit of this very long video where he's dressed as a T-Rex, just to show you that, again, this worked very well on Carrie's channel. It would not have worked at all on Dan's channel. Dan did something completely different that was very authentic for his audience. So when we talk about branded content, again, you need to think about who you're working for and are they going to understand the needs of your audience. So this is Dan's.
3, 2, I think it was.
Boom! I have completed my challenge.
So this is an example of a branded campaign, and you can make very good branded campaigns on YouTube. It's a very authentic, very organic way of speaking to your audience if you're a brand, but you do need to be true to the medium. You need to be true to the talent, and you do need to be true to their audience. Otherwise, all you get is a massive backlash. So let's go back to my initial question for you YouTubers. Should you join a network? As an ex-management consultant, I like my 2x2 mattresses, so I thought I would create one for this. And basically, the two axes are thus. You can be small or big, and you can be edgy or mainstream. And that's actually quite an important differentiation. If you're essentially shooting Kalashnikovs in the desert and filming it and putting it on YouTube, that is great, but it's not very brand friendly. And you're not going to get a lot of brand deals, and therefore it's not entirely sure, and you're also not going to get a lot of collaborations with more mainstream artists. So then it becomes a bit more questionable what a network might bring. But essentially, if you're here, yes, join a network. Now here is it's hard to define exactly where that is, but you'll know, you need to see it in the context of your own market. Can you grow your audience by working with more people that are like you? Then absolutely join a network. Do you want to do those sort of branded deals in collaboration with various people? Then yes, absolutely join a network. Take a long, hard look at your content. Are you brand friendly enough? Do you use, are you political, sexist, racist? Have very strong opinions about guns or abortion, in which case, you're going into the edgy category here for brands. These are the sort of things that you need to think about. If you're here, well, you know what? Have fun, because that's what it's all about. The fame and the fortune, maybe not, but you can have fun. So please go ahead and do this. This is also what the platform is about, but it's probably not fantastically useful for you to join a network. If you're here, that's great. Keep growing your audience. Keep working at it. Keep uploading videos. Work with YouTube. Work with as many people as you can to get yourself up to a point where you can really start creating value. And if you're here, well done. You're big now. And frankly, you're bringing more value to the network than they bring you. Except if they start giving you big checks of money, which they might at this stage. So this is the point where you start negotiating your deals with the network and you start potentially making a lot of money. We heard earlier about Maker Studio, which is a big network. One of their big stars is PewDiePie, who is the biggest YouTuber in the world with about 30 million subscribers. PewDiePie's contract with Maker expires in December, and he's already gone to the press saying, I'm not sure if I want to be in a network, really. I'm thinking about it right now. So he's going to get a very good deal. Good for him. So, that's your value. This is who you are. Go for it. Make some money out of it because you've done well to get there. Other things to consider if you're joining a network, which frankly, if you are in that big group in the middle, I really encourage you to do so because it will really bring you a lot of value. Go for someone with local presence. A lot of the value that they can bring you, they can only do so if they are around. The only exception is if you're in a very specific area, say if you're a sports blogger, you're probably better off joining a sports network, even if they're not local to Israel, because you will be able to collaborate with sports bloggers from around the world. So a compatible talent list, people that you'd like to work with, is also very important. It's good if they're good at what they do. I mean, most of them are these days, to be honest, because we're far enough in the market that people know technically how to work YouTube, and the production know-how is there as well, but still it's worth checking that. It's good if they have a good creative team, because if you're going to be doing those branded deals, you're going to work with their creative team. And of course, if you're joining them in order to get access to those brand deals, then they have to have brand relationships. If you're the ones bringing all the leads, then it's not worth it. And other things to think about for yourself as well as you start going into this world of monetizing, commercializing your audience a bit more on YouTube is this. Protect it. It's your value. It's your equity. In this world, the size of your audience is your equity, the size and the demographic of your audience. So protect it above everything. Don't overdo it. Don't do branded deals every week. Control the creative. Work with people that you trust on the creative. And very important, and this is something that we're seeing in the UK and in the US, there's a lot of backlash against, be honest. If it's a sponsored video, if the brand is paying for it, Tell your audience. Don't pretend, because if they find out that you've been lying to them, they really, really don't like that, and neither would you if it happened to you, so it's completely understandable. So these would be my rules for you guys, and I hope there are YouTube creators in the room, because otherwise I'm not really sure who I'm speaking to. But anyway, for you guys, if you're thinking about joining an MCN, these are the sort of things I would put on my list to think about. So we've talked about what an MCN brings. What about an agent? Now that I'm really big on YouTube, I could get onto TV, maybe do some movies. We said we mentioned some of the things that an agent can do for you, and look at that, it's moving up again. Gigs of YouTube, you know, Bethany Mota in the US is now on Dancing with the Stars. She clearly has a good agent. Cyprien is a French YouTuber who's also doing some TV gigs at the moment. A lot of them have magazine columns. These are nice gigs. They make some money, but also they're really fun. You know, it's fun to go on Dancing with the Stars. Some of them have gone on, especially musicians, have gone on to big things. Two of them here, Justin, of course, and 5 Seconds of Summer. And our little Dan and Phil here, still the same. We do like Dan and Phil. They have a radio show in the UK, which, you know, is great. And then some of them have done very, very well with merchandise, books, makeup lines for a lot of the makeup bloggers. And then Simon Scott's got a whole series of stuff that have happened around that brand. So there are definitely opportunities out there, and a good agent will help you realize them. But there are a few questions that I would absolutely advise you to think about before you go there. The first one is, are you really big enough? Like, you think you're big enough, but are you really big enough? Get somebody to really assess your value in the market and make sure that you have a big enough and well enough defined audience that we can start looking at doing other things with them, and that they're willing to go there. Are you ready to work at it? It's not just going to happen. You're going to have to go on a lot of really horrible early morning casting calls in a small room somewhere with a really horrible casting agent who has never heard of YouTube. You know, you are going to have to go and do live gigs in small venues to prove to the music guy that you can do live gigs, and that means you need to know how to do live gigs, which if you've only ever done music on YouTube is not necessarily a given. You're going to have to learn a lot of new things, and if you do a book deal, you're going to have to write the book. I mean, not maybe write the entire book, but, you know, talk to somebody long enough that they have enough material to write the book for you. So it's a lot of work to get off YouTube, and it absolutely pays off in certain ways, but you need to be prepared to put the hours in. But finally, and probably the most important question, are you ready to relinquish control? Some control. Because the world is not like YouTube. When you make your video, wherever you make them, I'm not judging, you know, you are in control. You are the talent, you are the writer, you are the editor, you choose the music, you choose the credits, you choose when you upload it, you moderate the comments. This is your world. It's a lot of work, but it's your world. The moment you go outside, you're going to have other people involved in the process. You go on to make a TV show, there are 50 people on stage, everybody with their own opinion, and guess what? Your opinion is not the most important opinion in the room, even though you're the talent. There are a number of YouTube stars who have gone on to TV and then went back to YouTube because they just couldn't deal with the fact that they weren't in control anymore. So it's a very important thing for you to be aware of, is that once you go out there in the big world, you are not in charge. Now, if you decide that you still want to do these sort of things and you go and find an agent, find the right one. All the big agencies in the US and the UK have decided to set up YouTuber specialists. They're not very good usually. Some of them are, but most of them are not, because they don't really understand your value. They don't understand your brand. Yes, they know you have X million subscribers on YouTube, but do they know why? Do they know what makes you special, what makes you different from somebody else with the same number of subscribers? Not necessarily. So find someone who really understands your value, and then find someone who can really sell you and sell your personal brand and decide where to sell it. So finding the person with whom you have a proper relationship is going to be very, very important for you. So fun, fame, and fortune is what you guys, I hope, are looking for and will achieve. Sometimes the stars align, and I wanted to leave you with one last little video where it's a project that we did earlier this year with Dr. Pepper. And I love it because it ticks every single box. It was so much fun to make. It actually ended up sitting on the channel of a mid-sized YouTuber, and he got a lot of views for it. So it actually increased his audience. And, you know, everybody made a bit of money. And it's a really interesting video. If you ever get a chance to check it out, it's a half-hour choose-your-own-adventure path where this guy called Ashens, is our main character, his sofa has been stolen, his couch. And so he goes on a search for his sofa, and he goes into these different rooms, and each time he meets a different YouTuber. So we ended up with 10 or 12 different YouTubers during the whole script, and each of them are a little sketch, and the user gets to choose what he wants the main character to do. I'm going to show you just one clip where Ashens, still looking for his sofa, goes into a room where Dan Bull, who's a UK YouTube rapper, is practicing with his friends. You know, it goes on. So that was a great example. We had lots of fun doing it. It breaks all the rules of YouTube. It's half an hour long. You have to be on your computer because it's got annotations, and annotations don't work on YouTube yet. It's scripted. It's got some really random music in it, but it was very, very successful for the brand, and everybody had a lot of fun doing it. So you can do a lot of things with YouTube. Don't feel constrained by its limits. Just keep pushing the envelope. And that is me. Thank you.